Hey guys, welcome back. In this episode of Elite Sports Network, we're going to be taking a look at the biggest surprises and disappointments in the NFL. And I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, but try and keep some in depth, as much as depth as I can, while staying under about 8 or 9 minutes. So here we go. Biggest surprises in the NFL. I'm going to start with the Chiefs. No one expected them to be undefeated at this point in the season, coming off a 2-14 season. No one expected this. Obviously, a lot of playmakers. People said Andy Reid heading to Kansas City is going to turn this team around and make them good again. I was expecting 4-5 at this point. I didn't think the Chiefs would be this good this soon under Andy Reid, even though they do have the playmakers. And now one of the biggest surprises in the NFL, no doubt. Next biggest surprise, New York Jets. I would also call them biggest mystery in the NFL. Who are the New York Jets? Are they the team that beat Tom Brady and the Patriots and Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints, two of probably the top 4 quarterbacks in the league? Or are they the team that got blown out by Cincinnati 49-9? Who knows what this team really is? That's the true question. But I think they are a surprise. Geno Smith playing well. Sheldon Richardson, Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate. Defense is playing well. Bilal Powell, Chris Ivory, getting it done on the ground. No one really thought with the lack of playmakers they had going in and a rookie quarterback, the New York Jets could do this well, but they're doing quite well to start off the season. Next up, Detroit Lions. 5-3 Detroit Lions, first in the NFC North. No one really expected that. NFC North was supposed to be uber competitive this year, with the Chicago Bears getting a retooled offense, the Packers being the Packers, Vikings coming off a wild card appearance, and of course Detroit with its playmakers in Megatron, Reggie Bush, Matthew Stafford. But I don't think anyone expected the Lions to be ahead of the Pack and the Bears at this point. But they're playing well overall. Crazy wins against Dallas are really teams such as Dallas are really setting the tone for this team. And I like what the Lions are doing so far. It's reminding me of 2 years ago when they were up there at 10-6 and playing good football. And so it's good to see Detroit playing well again. Final, biggest surprise is going to be the Carolina Panthers. They've had a good defense for a while, good playmakers, but really haven't been able to mesh it together into good, sound wins. I think they're finally at that stage now. They've gone over the 500 mark for the first time in a couple of years now, and things are, looking up for Carolina now, and that's really good to see from them. Those are going to be my top 4 biggest surprises. I don't think there's really as many surprises as there are disappointments, and you're going to see why in just a minute. Let's swing over to the biggest disappointments in the NFL. I actually have a lot. Obviously, starting off, Atlanta Falcons. 2-6 right now. Julio Jones, Roddy White, both out. And when they were in, not playing great, to be honest. Matt Ryan, who is he? Is he the guy who led the Falcons to 14-2 last year? Or is he a top 3, top 5 quarterback he's supposed to be? Or is he the guy that he is right now? Sloppy mistakes, careless throws. Where's the defense? Falcons, lost a lot in free agency, but, you got to build quickly on that. The fan base wants to see another, they want to see a Super Bowl appearance coming off a 14-2 season, 13-3 just 2 years prior. The Falcons should be up there in the playoff hunt, but they are quite disappointed at 2-6. I don't really think anyone saw them playing this bad, and they've had some pretty bad losses. Next up, Houston Texans at number 2. Obviously, with all the hate Matt Schaub's getting there, been truly disappointing this year. I don't know if he should deserve all of that, but at least some of the blame should be placed on Schaub. This team has, again, playmakers. Andre Johnson, Arian Foster, top 5 at their positions respectively. Defense, Brian Cushing, J.J. Watt. That speedy secondary. They should be playing at least 500 football. But they're not. They also are 2-6, and I think that is a problem. This should be, again, a playoff team. That's 2 big playoff teams from a year ago. Title contenders, both sitting near the bottom of the NFL power rankings today. That's too bad, and I think Houston has been really disappointing this year. Moving on, Baltimore Ravens, coming off a Super Bowl championship, anything less than, a great start to the year is somewhat disappointing. But, you can't blame them for that, but Baltimore has been truly disappointing this year. Ray Rice, career lows in, rushing yards per game, and just not playing with confidence that I have seen him play with in the past. This team has lost a lot of key players like Anquan Bolden, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, but still you gotta stay strong. The defense should still be good with Haloti Ngata and Lardarius Webb and Daniel Ellerby. This team should not be sitting at 3-5 like it is right now. Again, another huge team sitting, not too pretty in the playoff picture right now. Joe Flacco was paid like a top 3 quarterback. He's not playing like one, that's for sure. 10 touchdowns against 9 interceptions is not going to cut it in the NFL. Though he has thrown for 2,100 yards, with that many interceptions against that few touchdowns, not going to happen. Another disappointing team, obviously Tampa Bay, 0-8. Schiano's most likely gone at the end of the year. So they say the locker room's fine. Who really knows what's going on? But come on, this team was retooled for a wild card appearance. I thought they had the talent for a 10-6 team. I thought the Ravens were going to take a step back, going back to them for a sec, to 10-6, and that's why I think they're disappointing, even though I thought they would regress. But anyway, back to the Bucs. Doug Martin, Vincent Jackson, Darrelle Revis, Rondé Barber, Dashawn Goldson, top flight secondary right there. Great defense, young, fast linebackers. But the Buccaneers have not been able to stop anyone. Great fight in Seattle. I got to give them props to that. It was a great game against Seattle. I wish they would have won that so badly, being a Niners fan. But they're still just so underwhelming, 0-8. I really want them to play Jacksonville and just see if they can get a win, because the Buccaneers should not go less than 3-13 at this point. They should be able to pull out 3-5 to end of the year at least, or they'll be the most disappointing team out there. Next at number 5, one of my last final biggest disappointments, New York Giants. Eli Manning, one of the biggest single disappointments out there has been Eli Manning this year. You have Hakeem Nicks and Victor Cruz. I would say top 3 tandem in the league at wide receiver. I would take them over pretty much anyone in the league except for maybe Julio Jones and Roddy White. There's no team out there that has a 1-2 wide receiving punch like them two on the corners. But they don't have that going for them. The running game is non-existent. The D-line, which helped them win the Super Bowl 2 years ago with Pierre-Paul and Tuck, and Umanora, is not doing great at all, and they need that D-line to step up, because that is the Giants' bread and butter, is a fierce pass rush, and they're not getting that, and that's why they're so disappointing right now. Sorry I had to go so fast on that, but I just had to get through it real quick in a limited amount of time. 2 quick honorable mentions for disappointments, if that's honorable, I don't really know. Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously, the hard-nosed defense era that, reigned over the NFL the past decade. That aura is basically gone. They don't have that aura of hard-nosed D that the Steelers have had for, like I said, the past 10 years. And the offense, no hard-nosed running game, fierce, up-the-gut running game that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been known for. Roethlisberger, not much playmakers around him. All he's got is Antonio Brown and Kotri on the outsides, and I don't think that's really going to cut it. They have been disappointing this year as well. And another, quick mention, the Minnesota Vikings. The quarterback situation is just terrible. Freeman, Ponder, none of them are going to be quality quarterbacks, Pro Bowl quarterbacks. The defense doesn't know what they're doing outside of Jared Allen. And overall, this team is just such a step back from last year, when they could take the Packers in a fair fight, when they could win, games, when they made it to the playoffs. And that 1-7, that's just too bad. And I just want to take you to a quick look. Super Bowl champions, divisional playoff round teams, playoff contenders, wild card round team, all in the bottom 10 of the NFL today. That's pretty sad that those, a year ago today, Falcons and Texans were 10-0. They were the team last year. Them and the Niners were supposed to be the Super Bowl matchup right there. Where are they? 2-6. Atlanta Falcons, they were supposed to be the dark horse Super Bowl candidate, 14-2. They were a legitimate top Super Bowl candidate, down at 2-6 again. And then, of course, the Super Bowl champions. That's just too bad that these teams have dropped so far down. And I hope they can really get out of the hole fast. Giants have some favorable matchups, 3 straight home games, leading off with Oakland. Texas, I think their year's kind of shot, just to see what Casey Keenum can do down there in Houston. Falcons, they need someone to step up. And, I'm going to say that 100 times. Someone's got to step up for White and Jones. All these teams have major things they have to work on. So thank you for watching this episode of Elite Sports Network. I apologize for how brief it was, but I'll see you guys next time.